So you're all in. You're wondering, what the heck is she talking about when she keeps saying whole, real foods over and over and over again? So this video is gonna break that down for you, exactly what I'm talking about when I say whole, real foods, and why that is my primary diet of how I enjoy to live my life and how I feed myself. So as you can see in front of me, this is just truly a small sampling of all the different kinds of whole, real foods that are out there. And I just wanted you to have a really good look at this and realize that the world of whole, real foods is enormous. And dieting has this idea of shrinking down and confining and depriving yourself and getting very small. But when you begin eating whole, real foods, your universe blows up because of the variety of texture and flavors and colors that become so much more interesting and more exciting to your body when you know how to prepare them. So at the very top of my list of foods that I love are plants. So any vegetable or fruit obviously is a no-brainer. It's food that was grown out of the earth, is close to the way Mother Nature made it, super healthy for you, and I try to eat them in whole form. So I eat the skin on the outside of apples because the fiber and the pectin in the skin helps digest all the sugar that's on the inside. So eating things as whole and natural is the way that they came. I also feel that same way about grains. So whole natural grains are also in my diet. I look for ones with the bran and the endosperm still intact. And those two things are exactly what you need to slow down the absorption of the white carbohydrate that's on the inside of the rice. That bran and that protein in the endosperm actually acts as a way of slowing down the sugar so that you don't turn it into fat when you eat it. And so whole grains with their skins on are absolutely on my list of things that I enjoy. In smaller quantities, generally I start with plants and then fill in with other things. Clean meats are also on my list. When I mean clean, I mean as least processed as possible, hopefully without antibiotics and hormones, if at all possible. If you can buy local or organic meat, please do. If you can't, at least buy organic. If you can't do that, just buy clean meats from your supermarket that are not marinated or injected with sugar and fillers, because a lot of them are, so you have to read labeling really carefully when it comes to meats for those reasons. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is dairy. So dairy is a pretty hot subject right now because there's a lot of research coming out showing why we should be eating whole fat, full fat dairy. And I know this is contradictory to what you may have been taught and what you might be hearing from your doctor. So definitely do what's comfortable for you and what feels safe to you. But I'd like to share with you why I choose full fat dairy and something you might want to consider. So full fat dairy is dairy that does not have the natural occurring fats taken out of them. So when you start taking out those natural fats, what you're left with is a whole bunch of sugar. So sugar in the form of lactose. All dairy has lactose in it, and lactose is a form of sugar. So when you take out those fats, all you're left with is a big glass of sugar or a big bowl of sugar. And when the fats are gone, your body takes that sugar in and immediately starts spiking your insulin and turning it into fatty acids in the form of lipids and stores it as fat in your body. Where if you have the naturally occurring fats that Mother Nature already figured out, literally the perfect ratio of how much fat you would need to digest that amount of sugar, for one thing, it's so much richer that you can't eat as much quantity. So I'd never be able to drink a whole pint glass of whole milk, ever. It would be so rich, it would be filling, it wouldn't be good for my body, and my body would tell me that it wasn't good for my body. But skim or low-fat milk, I could easily drink a big, tall, cold glass of that, the whole thing, which sounds better for you in theory until you think about all that sugar that I'm getting. And so when you take the fat away, you actually eat more dairy than you would if it were fully intact. Another reason why I totally believe in it is the fat acts as a way to slow down the absorption of all those sugars. And that's a good thing for your body, but it also, that fat adds richness and flavor to your food, and so you're enjoying it more and you feel more satisfied, you don't feel as deprived, and so you're enjoying what you're eating so much more. Another reason why I eat full fat dairy is I just really trust Mother Nature. I don't think she makes mistakes. And every time that we have thought we know better, we then find out years later through studies that we were wrong. So forever we didn't think there was anything wrong with white flour. And we were baking up cakes and we were eating donuts and we were just having a heyday with white flour. And then lo and behold, they finally realized that, wait a minute, when we started taking that plant apart, when we started saying, well, we don't want the bran on it because the fiber is tough and it makes our dishes heavier, what we're left with is this simple carbohydrate which tastes great but is not great for our bodies. And I truly believe the same thing is about dairy. When you begin parsing out a food that was made perfectly to be in perfect balance with enough fat to help digest that sugar, when you start saying, well, we don't want that part because that's bad for us and let's separate this out, I just don't believe that your body knows how to read that code and do the right thing with that food going in. Just like that grain, I think the same thing applies to dairy. And then the last thing I want to chat about is fats. I know it's a big elephant in the room, and we've all thought that fat is what makes you fat, and I'm so excited to see these studies showing that fat doesn't make you fat, sugar makes you fat. And it's this magic combination of sugar in all of its forms, from cane sugar, regular granulated sugar, and then sugar in the form of simple carbohydrates like white flour, white rice. And when they combine those simple carbohydrates with fat and salt, like think about Cheetos, or with fat and sugar, think about donuts, it literally becomes addictive. They've now proven in studies that that combination, lab rats will choose that combination of fat, salt, and a simple carb, or sugar, they'll be more attracted to that than cocaine, which is just insane to me. But scientists have figured this out, and so they make foods that are truly addictive to your body because of that combination, and that is what makes you fat. And so avoiding fats because you think it makes you fat actually can make you gain weight. And same thing with the dairy, adding full real fats that are healthy fats to your diet allows you to feel fuller quicker. They are higher in density of calories, and so you burn it slower, so you feel fuller longer. So you'll eat less quantity up front and then feel fuller for a longer time, hence consuming less calories later in the day. So cutting those fats out just makes you feel deprived, and it makes you feel like you're missing out on something and not enjoy what you're eating, and you'll actually eat more of it. So it's a whole shift to get your head around incorporating fat into your diet in both your dairy and just adding things like butter and olive oil. And I'm not talking about processed fats, obviously, at this point. I'm definitely talking about fats that are actually good for you. So olive oil, incredible for your body. It's got tons of omega-3s. So I'm looking for ways to incorporate healthy fats that actually support my nutrition and make me feel more alive, and not the ones that are processed and make you gain weight.